Hey friends, welcome to 2026, where 2016 is all the rage. Who would have thought? Now, before everyone started posting their 2016 throwbacks, I came across this little nugget on Instagram that I want to share with all of you. It really hit home with me, so I'm going to read it. I screenshotted this on November 29th. Everything you're feeling right now is the end of a cycle. It's not chaos. It's closure. The exhaustion, the loss, the crumbling. It's your soul cleaning the slate. 2025 is the completion year. A 9-year cycle is ending. And everything not meant for your next chapter is dissolving. You're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment. The people leaving, the plans collapsing, the silence where there used to be noise. All sacred timing. You're being emptied, not punished, prepared. Completion has a frequency. And if you're feeling the unraveling right now, you're right on time. Let yourself shed. Let it all dissolve. Only then can your new timeline begin. The old world is ending. Your new one is ready. Step through. Now, 2025 was a rough year for me. It brought a lot of challenges, both personally and professionally, that were quite difficult. But it also brought so much kindness and grace and space to explore what's really important and hug my kids a little tighter and surround myself with love and friends and family and just a little more quiet in the day, which was incredibly amazing. So it's no surprise that this really hit home when I read it. And I thought back to what was 9 years before 2025, and it brought me to 2016. And when I looked back at my social media posts and my camera roll from 2016, I just have to say that was an incredible year. 2016 was peak BankSmartCarrie energy. And when this trend hopped on social media of reflecting on 2016 versus 2026, I knew I had to share, and not just in a quick post, because the culmination of this 9-year cycle ending and a reflection of 10 years on social, 2016 felt like a year to celebrate, as does what lies ahead in 2026. When I look back at my LinkedIn for 2016, my first post leading into the new year was called Top 5 Predictions for BankSmartCarrie in 2016. It was a little bit humor. It was a little bit play on a trend that was happening at the time. Also a little bit of a roast for what the previous year had looked like and some teasers for the year ahead. Now, this post caused quite a stir professionally at my organization at the time and was the subject of many discussions and calls to the principal's office. However, all were handled with humor and grace. So I so appreciate, as I look back at it, the chance to make mistakes, be funny, be myself, and really move things forward. So I want to take a look back at what 2016 actually looked like for me. It was absolute peak BankSmartCarrie energy. Professionally, I had just been promoted to vice president at the age of 31. I was in charge of retail and digital strategy, so our branch network as well as our online and digital channels. I started the year with a bang-up write-up in American Banker, being named one of the top 10 IT projects of 2015 for our cardless cash launch. That was the ability at the time to withdraw money at the ATM via a smartphone, no card needed, which was absolutely cool and unheard of for a small mid-sized community bank. This was quite a spread and got a lot of press mentions, which was like absolutely cool. And definitely an ego boost for a young banker. Later on in the year, I attended the Innovation Project hosted by Payments at the Harvard University, where colleagues of mine accepted the Best Cash Innovation Award for our cardless cash project. That was an incredible honor and so much fun. I was featured in Independent Banker's Best of the Best. I spoke at AMA Boston about mobile and financial services. In May, I did a series of press interviews. I attended a conference where one of our biggest stunts of all time was pulled off. I got to meet the Woz, and we took a selfie with the Woz with our iPhone, which was like the absolute coolest. That will go down in history. After that, Pokemon Go blew up and we were featured in the financial brand. We launched Lures at our branch network, which to the dismay of our security officer was quite a good time. And you can imagine how well that went over. Moving into fall, I attended Finovate Fall in New York City. We released our new mobile app live on stage. I went to Chicago for the first time, where I attended Bank CX Summit, was interviewed and got to sit on a panel, which was an incredible amount of fun. Again, culminated in a series of shenanigans and good times. A week later, I was in Nashville speaking at the American Banking Association's Bank Marketing Conference, talking about building an employee advocacy program. We had a great time in Nashville. We walked around, ate all the food. I ended up with Dolly Parton in an elevator. I hung out with a koala. It was just a really great time. 2016 was the second year in a row that social media had really continued to explode in our organization. I had incorporated it into the retail team. We had done Instagram takeovers, pop quizzes in the branches on social knowledge. Our managers were trained in social media etiquette and how to do social selling and build the brand. That didn't come without challenges. People in the organization didn't understand the point of it. Was it Carrie just taking selfies? Why was she having fun all the time? We hosted a fireside chat because conveniently my boss's office did have an actual fireplace, and we did a fun play to be able to share the importance that social brought to the organization and the value and the brand reach that we were supporting. I did a series of webinar collabs with BAI, Retail Banking Outlook, Hootsuite for FinServe Social. I was quoted a series of times in American Banker, and I can't really place when this happened or where it happened, but I'll say a top 10 fintech influencer did post a meme about Be Like Carrie. Called me out as a troublemaker, so that didn't really help my reputation at work. Now, I have to say one of my favorite and best interviews of 2016 was done by my nephew Cameron. He was in kindergarten at the time and interviewed me as a community worker for his project. You got to see this. This is so adorable. Who did you interview? Carrie. What job does this person do? Banker. Why did this person choose to work at the particular job? Because she likes money. Facts. Probably not the reason, but I do like money. Draw a picture and write a sentence describing one thing this person does at work. She makes apps. It was so cute. On the digital side, we had increased our focus on the retail team. We started a tech ambassador program and a tech table cross-collaboration team. We kicked off a new collaboration with PayPal, and we did some really fun summer of mobile campaigns in the branches, which promoted downloads, digital engagements with our customers, and encouraged usage within the app. It also helped ramp up team knowledge with the features, because how do you share it if you don't know anything about it? All of this while still running a 10-branch network. I was transforming retail delivery at the time with a new team in place. I had an incredible branch administrator who came to join me, and he really brought a vision for what we were trying to do. One of the managers stepped into a digital experience role and was able to help transform digital strategy alongside me. At the time, I was also building 2 branches, transforming one into a modern financial center and building a new de novo branch in a new market close to Boston. Can I just add for a second? Who let a 31-year-old have a $6 million budget? I don't know, but it was incredible. I started rollout of cash recyclers in the branches for the first time, something that my predecessors hadn't been able to accomplish and were trying to get implemented in the previous 5 years. So that felt really good. Prior to then, the leadership team didn't see the value in cash recyclers and bought into the notion that it was one for one. Every recycler replaced one employee. And in fact, I was able to prove that that wasn't true, but that there was additional value that the recyclers brought to each branch. All of this was centered around community and fostering collaborations with local businesses. I attended every ribbon cutting, every restaurant opening, Fintech accelerator, all in my spare time while going to school at night for my master's. To be young. To be young. This all came at a price. A lot of people don't know this, but towards the end of the year in 2016, I was hospitalized for, this sounds like such a diva, essentially for anxiety and exhaustion. I had spent about a week in severe pain. Half my body was numb. I was going to work every day. Some days I could barely walk. I would have chest pains. There were days that I thought I should call and be taken out in an ambulance. I would go to CVS on my lunch break and just find whatever pain medication I could. And one night I told my husband, I'm like, I need to go to the hospital. I think I'm having a stroke. So I went there. They took me right in because when you're 31 and half your body feels numb, they take that pretty seriously. Turns out it was stress, anxiety, exhaustion, the feeling of not doing enough, not being enough, not the worry of failure. The doctor was incredible. She was able to put it into perspective for me, assuring me nothing was wrong, that I wasn't dying. Although, side note, my husband had been in the garage with his friends drinking that night, and it was freezing out. And he came into the hospital and literally turned white as a ghost and like almost passed out. And I was like, listen, this is my diva moment right now. Can we hold it together? Can we just hold it together? That's like a night I will never forget because it's really when the stress of work hit me that it was all too much and I needed to slow down a little bit. And I actually didn't. I didn't slow down, but I realized I need to. And 2017 was a year that I took care of my health. I had some other underlying issues going on related to family building and such. And so as we moved into 2017, that was a focus and a priority for us. So what an incredible year it was. It was just so interesting and full and had a lot of personal and professional fulfillment and enjoyment. And I can't replicate that magic ever again, nor do I want to, because it's just such a fond memory in my mind. Now, we're going to go ahead and revisit this article for my top predictions for 2016. And I'm going to warn you, I haven't reread it since I saw that I posted it when I was looking back at my LinkedIn post. So we're going to do this live together and get the reaction. So you'll see that this photo on here, at the time we had been using it in some marketing campaigns, and admittedly, this looks very much like me when I was a kid. I did not wear glasses, but as you can imagine, that's what I would have looked like had I. Even my mom thought it might be a picture of me, which is like completely funny and also adorable. So it's titled Top 5 Predictions for BankSmartCarrie in 2016. Wow. How is it 2016 already? It seems like just yesterday I was writing Carrie Sage, grade 4, room 301 on all my checks. Thanks, Tina Fey, for that awesome and appropriate opening line. Now, if you've read or listened to her book, Bossy Pants, that's in there, and that one always makes me laugh. And I've actually used that repeatedly as an opening line to different blogs because I just find it hilarious. To tweet or not to tweet? That is the question. Now, this is a little foreshadowing to something else coming later in the blog, as I can remember. That was quite a big bone of contention in 2015. So at the time, 2016 predictions were rolling in. A lot of the financial influencers were posting their 2016 predictions. What was going to be the latest fad, the latest digital trend, stuff like that. And it was starting to be like too much. So it felt like, and I write in here, that people were just writing predictions for the sake of making predictions. And one of my favorite, they coined themselves award-losing podcasts, was the Fintech Fight Club, hosted by Nick Holland and James Wester at the time. And they talked about their predictions for 2016. So I quote them in here. And Nick says, "I'm predicting there's going to be some end-of-year predictions. We'll predict the words fintech and blockchain quite a lot next year, as well as probably omnichannel." I don't think he was wrong. And, James talks about the importance of making a good prediction. There is this tradition, everybody offering their end of year rundown, and they tend to be very tepid. Next year, there will be mobile payments. Next year, we will be more electronic payments. Next year, that kind of stuff. Not very actionable, not very insightful, and not very valuable, but we have to have them. We have to have all these end of year predictions. And it's funny because they mention that nobody ever goes back to somebody next year and says, you predicted X, Y, and Z, and the exact opposite happened. Turn in your prediction card. You don't get to make them this year. Nobody's ever held accountable for them. And I thought that was hilarious. And he said his predictions for 2016 is, next year, no one will be held accountable for the predictions that they are making that are absolutely wrong. I laughed and thought, why not write some 2016 predictions of my own? And I talked about, this year brought amazing coverage at my organization and some really cool things that we were doing in banking, payments, and social media. Now seemed like the perfect time to reflect on an amazing year and look ahead, setting goals for what's to come. Could 2016 really rival the likes of 2015? Like Nick and James said, predictions are important and no one will notice if they go absolutely wrong. Well, it's funny, now that we're looking back of it, I have to say 2016 was probably quite a bang-up year, even more so than 2015. 2015, I had done a huge tech project and was kind of morphing into a new role in my organization, but 2016 is where it really blew up, and 2017 and even into 2018, there was quite a bit going on that was just absolutely fun and fulfilling. So here we go. My top 5 predictable predictions for BankSmartCarrie in 2016. More selfies. Let's see. You bet I'm going to take more selfies. In 2016, I'll continue to master the art of camera angles and Instagram filters to make my online pics look even more awesome than before. You'll get hashtag Jeans Day selfies, hashtag community event selfies, and even some random office selfies. Your favorite BankSmartCarrie, along with the rest of the Smarties, will be all up in your social media feed like an eager rodent in fields executive multi-level consultant. Just trying to fit in her amazing opportunity into 15-minute pockets here and there while juggling 3 kids and a dog. Oh my gosh. That is that was a moment. It feels like every girl from high school person I know was sliding into my DMs to talk about the amazing opportunities and how you can make 6 figures in 6 months. Oh, wonder what they're doing now. So this was my first profile picture on Twitter. And I said, would you even see maybe a different side of me in 2016? We're going to find out. And I joke about how 2 of my favorite Fintech Favs, Alex Jimenez and Jim Morose, changed their profile pictures. And it totally blew my mind because I was like, wait, who are you? Who are you in my feed? And Alex and Jim had these profile pictures for so long. And when they switched to the other ones, it completely threw me off. And they were so different and artsy that I had to call it out. And these 2 guys, other 2 Fintech Faves, they kept the same profile pictures that year. I'm pretty sure they've since switched them, maybe even abandoned Twitter or X, but I appreciated them for holding it strong. Okay, this one, number 4, swag. The Olsen twins, Jessica Simpson, and all the Kardashians did it. Now it's time for BankSmartCarrie to shine. In 2016, I'm taking my career to the next level with a full-out fashion line. Okay, more like a bedazzled zip-up hoodie with my name on it, while sitting in my living room watching reruns of Downton Abbey on Amazon Prime. Oh man, that was a moment. You may remember that in 2015, I dabbled a bit in fintech fashion with my cardless cash swag. Watch out, fintech mafia. Your swag is cool, but you've seen nothing yet. Here are some pictures of my 2015 swag. I definitely did more swag in 2016. I never got a bedazzled hoodie or later wanted to have a bedazzled jean jacket. Never quite did that. However, I wouldn't count it out yet. There's still time. Maybe 2026 is the year for the bedazzled jean jacket. I have to say, one of the years, I don't remember which year it was, I did get a custom blazer and wore it to a conference presenting, and it was just absolutely so much fun. Number 3, I'm going to write more. I'm not sure the world can handle BankSmartCarrie in more than 140 characters, but in 2016, we're going to find out. I might write once a month or once all year, but either way, we're going to be more than 2015. And in the interest of full disclosure, it may not be all that interesting. And here we have some Twitter friends that were cheering me on. Give the people what they want. Blog Smart Carrie. I love that. So fun. I don't remember if I wrote more in 2016. I have to say this has always been my struggle. I love writing. And I'm just not that great at it. Probably because I don't do it that often. But when I do, I like pour myself into it and it's so much fun. And I do have this like quirky tone to it that I find really hilarious. But that might just be me. And so hopefully that comes out on video because I can crank this out faster than I can writing and rewriting and editing myself. But I do probably do one blog post a year. I don't think I've gotten any more than that. What is disruption? An excerpt from dictionary.com. Disruption, a noun. Forcible separation or division into parts. A disrupted condition. A radical change in the industry, business strategy, etc., especially involving the introduction of a new product or service that creates a new market. This year, the word disruption was all the buzz. One could argue that it was the word of the year. However, the 2015 word of the year was not a word at all, but an emoji. Oh, that's interesting. I don't remember that. That was probably the first and only time that happened. Had it been a traditional element of speech written in alphabetical characters, the word would have been disruption. Actually, the fact that the word of the year is an emoji is the epitome of disruption. You're right, Carrie. That was a good point. Oh, this is a good one. At the beginning of the year, fully sick of the status quo, I jokingly vowed to stir up some trouble and be disruptive in 2015. Now, I warn you, in the central Massachusetts community banking world, not tying your lobby pens to the counter with a string is considered disruptive. So the tolerance around here is pretty low. Truth. All year long, I pushed the limits. I did some things that were pretty out there. Seriously, you try talking your facilities department into having an ATM hoisted into the lobby of your main office for a PR stunt. Truth. And it was a 100-year-old lobby, and the doors had to come off. And I do not know how I pulled that off. And I challenged traditional thinking, and it was amazing. I had such a productive year full of excitement and innovation. As the close of Q3 rolled around, I was awfully full of myself and beginning to think I was in the clear. This being disruptive thing wasn't so bad after all. And then it came. Yeah, this is, yep, okay. This one got me into a lot of trouble. Late in 2015, with all its glory and awesomeness, brought about a horrific scandal known as Tweetgate 2015. In short, I tweeted about something super awesome that was available to all customers in my organization. However, unbeknownst to me, it was technically still in development. And the tweet, despite its epic share and worldwide reach, was quickly squashed by a dreaded naysayer. Gasp! I know. I'll spare you the boring actually juicy details, because this could really be a blog post all on its own. But for now, I proudly wear the scarlet tee that comes with the shame, honor of being a rogue tweeter. This is the tee that I will carry through with me into 2016, perhaps incorporated into my new fashion line. So when it comes to disruption, yeah, you'll be seeing more of that in 2016. Oh my gosh. Okay. Story time. And this is not to call anyone out. This is not a reflection of the organization that I was at. This is just my personal story that I need to share. So 2015, I was very into social media, still am. I think it is so important. And at the time was using it to amplify our organization's message, to humanize our brand persona, and to really build some excitement around who we were and what we were. Really making our name for ourselves as an innovative, forward-thinking community bank, which was not the norm. I had very much success with that in our cardless cash launch. So customers, everyone loves to be an insider, right? They want the inside knowledge. They want to know what's happening behind the scenes. So I had shared our cardless cash development. Again, that's the ability to withdraw from the ATM using your smartphone, no card needed. The second I signed a contract for implementation and testing, I was bringing customers along for the ride behind the scenes. The first time I loaded the test app onto my phone and was able to make a withdrawal, I posted a video of that on my Instagram. People got to ask questions, learn about it in development, and by the time we got to market, the excitement was already there, and there was an appetite for it. It wasn't just like, oh my gosh, new technology, I don't understand it, I don't want it, it's not safe. We were able to educate customers in the meantime and make them feel a sense of pride and excitement in their bank that they were getting this new technology, which was absolutely the right thing to do, and like so successful. We got a lot of press out of it. We got a lot of new customers out of it, and it was just really cool all around. So modeling that success, one of the things that was really, I will say, new in 2016, especially for a mid-sized community bank, was real-time payments. So at the time, Venmo was recently acquired by PayPal. There was this pull in the market for expedited payments, convenience, the ability to do things all within one experience. And so our organization had offered P2P, which is like person-to-person mobile payments. So I could text or email you $20, marketing it as seamless as Venmo and all contained right within your bank's mobile app. At the time, Venmo was increasing in popularity and had just a few years earlier been acquired by PayPal. And one of the things that it didn't quite have at the time that was still kind of in beta was real-time payments, the ability to send and settle cash instantly. And so we were looking for a differentiator, and we were testing behind the scenes a partnership with a company or a subsidiary of a company called PayNet. And that would, if you were in the PayNet network, allow us to send P2P real time using the debit card rails, which was incredibly cool. So our digital operations team at the time, which was different than my digital strategy team, that's another thing that we'll get back to, was testing this unbeknownst to me, which the larger problem that I have is how these groups are so separate at every organization, but we'll put that aside. They were testing this PayNet integration unbeknownst to us. So one day I am sending a P2P transfer to my mom to be able to pay for something, and it went real time. And I was like, holy crap, this is so cool. And below it, there was a little note that said like powered by PayNet or something like that. And I thought this was real cool. And I wasn't seeing this as an employee. I was seeing it as a customer. I wasn't in a special testing group at the time. This was live with our customers. And so I took a little screenshot, edited out my personal information, tweeted it out, and was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Just sent my first real-time P2P using our mobile app in partnership with PayNet or something. Now I did print out this tweet and used to have it saved in a folder. I don't think I had it because one day I went through my desk drawers here at home and just threw away anything that had like bad energy, and that didn't make the cut. So I don't think I have it, but if I find it, I will show you. No sooner did I post it than about 20 minutes later, our head of operations calls me screaming about how I need to take down a tweet. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What, like, I tweet like all day long as part of my job. What tweet? The one about PayNet. And I'm like, why? It's not, I was like, why? It's not confidential information. There's nothing proprietary about it. PayNet doesn't want it to go live. And I'm like, well, if they don't want it to go live, it shouldn't be live in our app. Well, we're doing it as part of a test. Well, it's live to customers. So if a customer found it and did the same thing that thought it was so cool, why is it a problem for me? And I was dead set on that this was the right thing to do, that I was emulating the same magic that I had with Cardless Cash, that I was building excitement, that I was educating our members on real-time P2P, and that this was really going to be a differentiator for us because other P2P apps, I don't recall having it at the time. So this was going to be a selling point for us that we could, on the retail side, be able to say, hey, this is why you want to use the P2P integrated right within your bank's app. No need to go outside to Venmo. That's cute. But here's why you want to use us. It was horrible. And now, forgive me if you're watching this and you don't feel like you screamed at me. My memory is very colorful. So I may have changed it over the years. Who knows? But I remember screaming. And I just remember being so young and stubborn and thinking, this person's wrong and I'm going to do what I want because I'm a success and I've made it, baby. I've been an American banker. And, yep. So got a lot of flack for that one. I got in a lot of trouble. It was actually not the most trouble that I got in. There was no like warning or anything, but I did get called to the principal's office. And many people told me to take down a tweet. And I said, I'm not taking the tweet down. I think I ended up taking the tweet down. I'm pretty sure I did. For the spirit of camaraderie and peace. There was also a series of emails to me saying, take down that tweet. Take down that tweet. It was very rude. And honestly, if someone had just come to me and be like, hey, Carrie, can we not do this right now? Can we hold off? I would have been chill. But the fact that I get a phone call yelling at me, with a like uncollaborative, I'm better than you attitude was like really upsetting because here's something that in my mind, the retail team should have known. The ops team was testing it and put it live. And if something like that's happening, the customer side should be aware and should be able to sell it and talk about it and be educated about it. That was probably my biggest beef. And this probably goes for anything in my life. If you just talk to me like I'm a person, I'm fine. And I will usually be like, okay, cool. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm getting ahead of myself. But I was a young hotshot. And I'd like to say that I've grown and learned, but who knows? But anyway, this was a little jab to that incident. And I tried to write this and poise it in a way that was not rehashing it, not rude. I will say that this blog post ended up being printed out and was on my boss's office desk for a while. I don't think he ever mentioned it at the time, but I remember seeing it and it was kind of like this unsaid thing of like, it's there. We're not going to talk about it, but you know what you did. He was such a saint. And let's get to the grand finale. Number 1, feature story. No good year-end recap without one ridiculous prediction. Something to show that these truly are the words of an industry guru. Something so provocative that it acts as a counter indicator of what's actually going to happen. If you listen to the Fintech Fight Club podcast, these words will sound rather familiar. So this was a little joke about me, but also hoping to will it into existence. Well, here it is. In 2016, I predicted that I will be picked up by a major publication. I might have my own story on the Finivit blog. Feature Friday, anyone? the Financial Brand 2016 Best and Brightest list, or Femtech Leaders. And if you're wondering, yes, in my circle, these are considered major publications. I wonder if this website's still around, Femtech Leaders. As you can see, I photoshopped myself onto there. That was really cute. One of my favorite banking and fintech writers has always been Jim Brune, aka NetBanker. But in recent months, blog posts have been filled with more funding announcements and less bank feature highlights. Like, really? Where are the Black Friday deals? Jim, give me the people, no me, what I want, or propose alternative. I'd be happy to write one or two. So here is my radical prediction for 2016. Anyone looking to make this dream come true, you know where to find me. I have to say, when I was a young banker on the teller line, I would read NetBanker, and it was so inspiring and energizing, and I knew nothing about anything about product development or anything like that, or marketing or excitement, but I knew what I liked when I saw it, and in between cashing checks and making loan payments for customers, I would read NetBanker, and it was just so inspiring and a lot of fun, and never did get a feature on there or anywhere else that year for that matter. That's okay. 2026, this could be our year, baby. In closing, my 4th grade English teacher of aforementioned room 301 also taught me to end every writing piece with a proper summary of my thoughts. Although, truth be told, she would be horrified at my writing style here. In her honor, let's recap and see if I met all the criteria for a proper year-end recap. Were my predictions not very actionable? Check. Not very insightful? Check. Not very valuable? Also check. But like Nick and James said, we have to have them. We have to have all these year-end predictions. And if I'm wrong next year, no one will be held accountable for the predictions they made this year that are absolutely wrong. Best wishes for a happy and snarky new year. Signed, BankSmartCarrie. Oh my gosh! Here's looking at you, 2016. Okay, so in the back of this picture, there's like a framed tweet in my office. So this is, if it's blurred out on purpose, but this is a picture of that tweet that got me in trouble. I framed it. I had it in my office for years. And it actually, like, you can't see this, but it did get, quote, commented on by a top 10 fintech influencer, which I was like, this is a big deal. They're watching my stuff. They're watching us. We're going to be popular. We're going to be important. And in fact, we had some later business ventures that this was all helpful for. However, I'm not going to say I told you so. Because I was just a young smarty pants who thought she knew everything. I've lived and I've learned. Honestly, yes. So disclaimer, these opinions are mine and mine alone. They do not reflect any of the awesome individuals or organizations mentioned above. I cited pictures where I could. Honestly, the team that I worked with, they were incredible. You couldn't tell me anything at that time. I just thought I knew everything, but this was so fun to look back at 2016. So it was an incredible year, and I love that the social media trend of a 10-year look back, as well as the Instagram post that I saw of ending a 9-year cycle. And I am just so excited and optimistic for the year ahead. And this was so fun. Thanks for tuning in, and stay social, my friends. We have more fun coming.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you.